Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Glass of the Independence is a game I picked up based on the theme alone. The idea of producing and selling cars is very interesting to me. I really like Automobiles by Martin Wallace. There's a game called Automania I really like. So I was like, Glass of Independence, let me give this one a try and see how this one feels. Total flop here. The components are garbage. The rule set is very hard to wrap your mind around. And I felt like there was just way too much luck in the game. Too many these big heavy swings to be a Euro game. And I think if I want something heavier, I'd go to Automobiles. If I want something lighter, I'd go to Automania. Even Kanban is one of my favorite ones if I want something super heavy. Glass of Independence is not going to fit into this. There's just huge swings with a draw from the bag and the cards that come out, kind of how things go. I feel like the components really bring it down. Although I really do like the art style in this game, there just wasn't a whole lot to bring me back into this. I'm going to have to say this is a huge purge for me, a big letdown. I wasn't expecting a whole lot, but a letdown on theme alone. I really do like games with this theme for some reason. It's very odd, because I'm definitely not a car salesman. But I do like that kind of production wing that it allows into. Honestly, you can get this theme better in other places. There's three really solid ones that I mentioned in the different levels that you want to play in the game. This one does not fit in with this like a luck thing. I would pass this one. I'll buy. Absolute purge for me. Glass of the Independence has a nice box size. It's fairly thick, but the artwork on it is just really good. It's really attractive and takes you back to a time. But when you start looking at it closer, you notice that it's a little bit cheap. And that's where this game kind of falls, is that it feels like a cheaply produced game, but done well. So first thing you notice is this board. It just feels like somebody print and played this. And it could be because of the age of the game or the materials they had, but it kind of feels that way. I do like all the artwork on here. I like the way this looks. It's kind of busy, but you'll be doing here, then here, then here, and then here. So it kind of works with the way the game works. You're going to get a bag, which you'll be drawing into quite a bit. You'll get a rule book, which we'll go over in a few minutes. You're going to have these different player maps. These are different car companies, and each one is different. You can see the way the circles are on here. You can see they're in different locations. So each company plays a little bit differently and has different abilities that they'll be able to take advantage of on the board. This is fairly cheap, but it just sits on the board, so it's not a huge deal. You're going to have these cards. Here's the one player aid. Instead of 4 or 5, there's only 1 for everybody. And these cards kind of feel like what you would get from Flying Frog, to be honest. The artwork is okay, and there's a top and a bottom sword that you'll be playing. But they just feel kind of weird, but I actually quite like them. Then everybody's going to have these little wooden tokens, these little cylinders and their color, which will represent money and resources and actions. And you'll have these tiddlywinks that will represent victory points. These are not very good components, but this is a little bit older game, so you might cut it a break. Here's the rule book. You're going to see a lot of yellow and black will be on this, and here's a round overview, setup, and turn order. Not a lot of pictures or any pictures, not a lot of examples, which this game really needs examples, but you can kind of see it's just a bunch of text that go through how to play the game. Luckily, the game's not very complicated. Here is just the components with things that tell you, like, this is the engineering icon, and this is how the profile sheet is set up. Not very useful. Rulebook's actually, it's decent. I give it a 5 out of 10. It really needed examples more than pictures, but this is just a glob of text, so. So when the game is set up, you'll take your character sheet, and you'll put one of these markers over each one. And everybody will equal 10, but they'll be in different categories. Then you'll take 10, and you'll set these aside. The game does come with more than this. It doesn't really tell you what to do with it. I believe you just set it aside and you'll be able to get it back later. Everybody will start the game out with 4 cards. That will be your cards, and that is the setup to the game. Now, this player board is really important, and the game goes out of its way to have these funky definitions. You can only play these in certain areas of the game and this one in a certain area of the game. This is your resource allotment. So this is going to be something where you'll be playing during the game. These will go in a specific location. So the exterior styling, these two can go there. This one can only go in the magazine ads, etc. So the game is broken up into 3 phases: models, engineers, and promotions. I have no idea why models is upside down. Maybe give other people a chance to read it. I'm sitting on this side. And then some of these go, they're up right side here, they're upside down there. Very weird board. But you'll go through the models, then you'll go through engineering, then you go through promotions, the car of the year, and your return pool will be down there. So everybody's going to start out with 10 discs in their selective disc allocation. And on your turn, you can put disc on one of these sections and the models. When we get to engineering section, you do an engineering, and when you're promotion, you do a promotion. But we're going to focus just on models to explain, because each of these three work exactly the same. You can put all these on there. Once you place it somewhere, you cannot place any more here. Other people can, but you cannot. So you'd have to utilize one of the other sections. After everybody's done doing that, you look right here. These will be the red section for the models, and you'll have these wooden cylinders that will be on top of these. Let's say utility, station wagon, four-door sedan. For this company, I could take this off utility and put it in the utility section if I so wanted to. This is a one-time round. I can take all of these off that I want, but I have to put them in the exact locations where these cylinders were out on the board. Then you can play a card from your hand. In this section, you'll be playing the top. So prerequisite on any car, player may move one disc from a four-door sedan to the car of the year. So if I had something, and I play this card, and I had something on the four-door sedan right here, I could go ahead and just drop it down in here into car of the year. I'll explain why that's important later. So you just play a card, and you're going to be able to do what's on top of it. I'll get to what the bottom is later, but for now, you would just take whatever the top action is in this section. The fourth thing you'll do is you'll go through each section in the models, and you're going to find out who has the competition resolution. And it's very easy. So you just take whatever of these that are here. In this case, there were 4 blue, and there was 5 blue and 2 red. You put these in the bag, and you pull one out, blue. Blue won that. So blue will have that there. The rest of these are not. So whatever you have more of, you have a better chance of pulling it. Whatever you pull out will be located right there. These are the remaining discs from the bag. All of the blue will go back to the return pool. The losers will only put half rounded down into the return pool. So now blue has 4 in the return pool and red has 1, and this one will not go back there. So let's say at the end of the round you did all this, and red has utility and luxury, where blue only has 2-door. Red is going to get 1 victory point for having more than blue. You would repeat the same thing for engineering and promotions. So when you're done with these 3 sections, each square, each area will have no more than 1 disc on it. So let's say the model section ended up like this. You would take all of these that are in the model section, and you would put those in this bag. And guess what you're going to do? You're going to draw 1 out. Oh, it's blue. And that would go into the car of the year section. So blue won. So I would take all their chips out of the bag, put in the car of the year. The people who did not win from the model section will go down in the return pool. You'll do the same thing for engineering, same thing at promotion, until you have a breakup of these discs sitting in car of the year. From models, engineering, and promotion, they'll all be sitting here like this. Then you'll take all the tokens from car of the year, throw them in the bag, shake it up, and draw 1. This is your car of the year, red, and they will get a victory point for being so. The remainder of the discs in the bag will go down here to the return pool. Then everybody will get their discs from here. You will have to fill up your board first. Once this board is filled up, then you will put the rest into your selective recruitment. So then you can play these cards for the bottom. If you've saved them and didn't play them from the top, you still have some in your hand. And what this does, if you have any tokens in this area, say 4-door sedan, if you have a token there, you can put an extra one there. If you don't have any, it doesn't apply. Same thing with safety. If I had one there, I could put an extra one there. Same thing with newspaper ads. If I had one there, I could put an extra one there. After taking your disc back in the return pool and putting them on here, if you have 6 or more left over, you get to keep those. If you have less than 6, then you get to draw up to 6. You always have at least 6 to play with. You play 3 rounds. Whoever has the most victory points after 3 rounds is your winner. Who should buy this game? This is one I would probably say steer clear of. There are some really good games with this theme on it, if that is what interests you. This game can be found very cheaply, so maybe that would be appealing to you, the budgetary amount of it. But otherwise, it's got too many big swings in luck that kind of take your strategy out of it, and you can definitely lose by just drawing from the back. So for me, this is going to be a Purge for me, and not one I would tell you to seek out.